I read a definition of compassion, and it said, compassion is when love puts on its shoes and walks out into the world. That's what that song reminded me of. The compassion to stand there for others and be there and care no matter what's going on. How many of you love John O'Donohue? So amazing. He left too early. He left in 2008, but a beautiful Irish poet and author and a former Catholic priest and a champion of Celtic spirituality. And his writing is so emotional and tangible. You just love it. His words mean so much. And he has a book called Beauty, because what he's known for the most is talking about beauty and friendship and bringing together the invisible and visible world inside of you. So he says, the ability to care is the hallmark of being human. That's what we are here for. The ability to care for each other and ourselves. And he goes on to say it's the touchstone of morality, the ground of holiness. Without care, the world would be a graveyard. We'd all be so lonely. You know, that's an epidemic in the world. And this care that can weave us together, the compassion. And he closes by saying, in the kindness of care, the divine comes alive within us. You know, we are here to be the expressions of God, of spirit, of light. That's why we're here, to grow in that ever-evolving, awakening process. That's why we're here. And compassion is the ultimate way. Caring is the ultimate way we can bring that light, that expression of God right here within us. You know, compassion is really about understanding our shared humanity. Our shared humanity. That we are perfectly imperfect human beings. And inside of us is our spiritual essence, which is eternal. It's the truth of us. But so many of us have a mistaken identity. We forget that we are truly spiritual beings, and we are just here passing through this human experience, all of its delights and challenges and woundedness and healing and joy and happiness, all of that. We are here to learn and grow, but we carry our true self with us on our eternal journey of expansion and growth and love. That's why we're here. We each share struggles and joys together. I read something recently that really had meaning for me about this shared journey of humanity. And it says, we need to remember that we are all complicated. All of us, whether you think you're really simple or not. No. We all have blind spots and limitations, right? Yeah, we do. Okay. We can all say dumb stuff. No one is perfect, but we all count. We all matter. There's not anybody here that doesn't have special, unique gifts that are ready to be shared and expanded and given and received. It's for all of us. We all have that. We can learn from each other, and we all have good we can tap into right now. And we tap into that good that's within us all the time. It's never gone, we just bury it. It's always there. But when we tap into that, we can tap into joy. And we can awaken to realize that we can choose to be awake and alive and fully engaged in life anytime we choose. But as I said, we forget. Ernest Holmes, and thank you for all your quotes, Madeline. Ernest Holmes said something else about that. He said the most important need of every single person, there isn't a person here that doesn't need this, is to be loved and to love. That's the love and be loved, the giving and receiving. But we get these, as I said, mistaken identities that we forget our true selves. And we are really, really good at owning our imperfections, our woundedness, our problems. You know, our ego takes over. We let our human side, really, our egos take over and tell us all these things about us that are only a tiny little bit, teeny weeny bit true. But we start making them into this big story of our life, and our woundedness becomes our identity. Have you ever done that? That becomes who we are. And we forget there's something so much more inside of us that we can nurture and develop and bring out and create. We have to start really focusing on our true self, that part of us inside that wants to be expressed and to connect not only with ourselves, but make that connection with each other. That's why we are here, and that's what we are here to do without question. If you are a person here that does not have a wound, will you stand up? And I'm going to trade places with you right now, okay? Because we all have wounds, and we all have the need to be kind and soft with our wounds. It's Mark Nepo who says, actually it's not Mark Nepo, he has something else to say later. But this is John O'Donohue again, because I love him too. If we approach our hurt directly and kindly, it will heal. But we let the gaping wound be open, and we forget that it can heal when we change our thought about it, when we have a greater understanding, when we know more, when we're more compassionate with ourselves. We need to have self-compassion first. We need to love ourselves because we are perfect just the way we are, and we're getting better every moment if we want to. We're great. We need to own that and know that we're here for a reason, starting every day. As I opened in the prayer this morning, asking everybody to step into the realm of God, step into the realm of love, step into the realm of healing, and wherever it is you need, because it's all here right now as we open it. The healing and opening of our heart is a lifelong process for us, that we can open to the all of life and not just the part of it, not just a little bit of it. It's for us. So if we are here and understand that we're here on purpose, not by accident, and life, this is Mark Nepo, life is made just difficult for us that we need each other. We need each other. We need to open up so we can hold ourselves and each other up. It's interesting, if you look at the spiritual teachers that we love the most, the spiritual authorities out there that we look to give us guidance, they almost all say the same thing about why we are here. Jesus taught a compassionate way of life. He was the ultimate spiritual authority. His 2 commandments can guide our lives into a life of compassion and caring and healing and growing and becoming if we would just own them and live them. Jesus said, we are here to love God and love one another. He did not put a lot of prerequisites on the other. The other could be any faith, any culture, any political orientation, any sexual orientation, anything. Any mistakes, it didn't matter. He just said, love one another. And if we could do that, this world would be a so much more beautiful, brighter place. When the beautiful Gretchen and the band were doing I'll Stand By You, I just pictured this big, big, gigantic, huge, unbelievably big, huge, huge circle of everybody in the world standing together and holding hands and understanding each other in a beautiful way. And that's what we can do. That's what Jesus wanted. He also said, what you do to the least, you do to me. He knew that we can't treat someone else horribly and not have it affect ourselves and affect other people. What we do in our world, and it doesn't mean we don't make mistakes and can't forgive, because we have to have compassion with ourselves, but just understand we are a work in progress, but we need to learn from each step and what we're doing to be aware of what's going on. Meister Eckhart, another beautiful mystic, I have a word, but it's not coming, so I'm not going to say it. Mystic, he said, compassion Compassion is the best name for God. Of any other word, compassion is the best name for God. So when we act in compassion, that's what I was saying in the beginning, we are acting in the mind and heart and the oneness we know, our oneness with God and Spirit. We're doing that. He said that. You know, he got in some trouble from the church, too. He was a little stinker. He said things like, oh, God is in me. I'm one with God. The church didn't like that so much. But anyway, so Mechthild of Magdeburg, another German, Middle Ages, that's what I was, middle-aged mystic. She also was a troublemaker. She called out the corruption in the church. She said, you know, we've got to live what we're teaching. I agree with that. But anyway, when we are compassionately outpouring our love, we are most like God. When we're doing that, that's how we can be. That's when we're most like this quality. That one most important name, we are most like God. And of course, the more contemporary, Joseph Campbell, said the purpose of our journey. He's talking about the hero's journey. That's all our journey. The most important part of our journey is compassion. That's why we're here. That's what we're here for. That's it, if we could remember that. If we can remember that. When I talk about self-compassion, sometimes that's hard to do, to love yourself enough to really wake up in the morning and say, I'm so lucky I'm me. How many of you say that in the morning? I mean, that's a hard thing to say. You know, I'm just really darn lucky I'm me. You know, we got to really put those shoes on, you know, and walk into that, yes, okay, let me live like I feel that way, and then we will. But it's true. It's about forgiveness, about empathy. It's about understanding ourselves and others. We're all doing the best we can with the tools we have, and we'll do better when we know better. And now is time to know better. One thing at a time, one thing at a time. We need to know better, but we need to love ourselves, or we can't give the fullness and openness of our heart. So we have some healing to do. Now, compassion is already planted in us. You know, if we think about, we all know the story of the Cherokee grandfather that was teaching his grandson and about the two wolves that are inside of us. And he's saying there's two wolves inside of everybody. One wolf, fear, anger, resentment, blah, 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 you know, all that stuff. And the other wolf is peace and love and happiness and joy, kindness and compassion. And they're always fighting. And the grandson said, which one will win? You know, the one we feed, the one we honor and we recognize. There's that seed of compassion in us, and that seed will grow if we nurture it and if we're aware of it. And if we allow ourselves to open our heart, not just to the things that are good and happy and wonderful and joyous, but open our hearts to it all. And sometimes we are there in the fun and joy, and other times we are on our knees praying, because that's all we can do, but we need to know something more. That's why we're here and what we're doing. Oh, what a journey it is. Do you know, even amidst all of the challenges, the hardships, the difficulties, the disconnection, the right doing and wrong doing, the duality, the separation, that life is meant to be uplifting. And because we have the tools to make a switch, to do something, to turn ourselves, our mind, our heart, our life in a different direction at any moment, a different thought about ourselves and about others, we can do it. And that's, we've got the tools. We just need to practice them. We need to be strong enough. Compassion takes courage, especially with ourselves to start with. The courage to wake up and be glad that we're ourselves. I'm so glad to be me this morning with my whatever. I don't even want to start the list, but I mean it. We have to start there. So I want you to think right now of that one thing, just one of the things. Don't make a long laundry list right now, or a grocery list, or whatever list you make, but think of the one thing in this moment that could make you love yourself more. Because I know once we do that, then we can go out and share that compassion, that song in the world. Just let yourself feel being immersed in that love as we close up our wall and make space for our second song.